And welcome back to a new episode of the AJ Show. And we are continuing our Lego series. And as promised from our last episode, we are talking about the space Legos. Space Legos. Space was a big deal back in the 90s, of course. And even in the 80s with Star Trek and Star Wars. You know, you get all these cool, customizable space Legos. And they're pretty epic. There's a lot of different series and themes that I've seen over the years when it comes to space Legos. Nowadays, you don't really see much anymore in the modern era, except for Star Wars. It's all about Star Wars. But today on the show, we're going to dive into some of the classics from the 90s and early and probably late 80s. I'm not 100% sure which. Well, so sit back, relax, have yourself a beverage, and let's dive into some space Legos, brother. I'm going to start off with the smaller little vehicle models, and the first one I can remember getting is this one right here. This is the Black Tron series from like early 90s, like 91, 92, I believe. And this is just like a little Black Tron Scout. And the other one I got of the Black Tron series is this one right here. This is a pretty cool one. It's like one of my personal favorites of the series. You know, just in the smaller model scale, because it had a little box right here you open up, and there's like a little control panel in there. He's got a little gun as well on the side right there that he's holding. And the wings, you know, I kind of used this before Star Wars Legos became a hit. This was the X-Wing. I used this as like a modified X-Wing. It was pretty dope, pretty awesome for that model there. So it's one of my personal favorites. You got the twin little gun barrels up in the front there as well to take out other, you know, space pilots out there. The other series, of course, Space Police. I noticed there was a modern version of Space Police, I think back in the 2000s, but this is like the early 90s, again, of Space Police. They had a little kind of gray, green tinted theme going on with it. This is like another Space Police scout. I kind of basically, his name was the General. That's the only name I came up with, this guy right here. And it's one of my favorite ones of them all. You know, this is a pretty cool, simple spaceship. Just a simple shuttle. And of course, this thing is like a Land Rover right here. It has a little satellite on the back with a little trailer. Again, a little gun up here, antenna. And of course, the other, you know, Space Police character right there. So it's a pretty cool set. Diving to the other series of space Legos is Spyruis. I think that's how you pronounce it. Spyruis Legos. That's what I've been calling it ever since I was a kid. Spyruis Legos. And so the first one we're going to talk about is this little Spyruis Scout person right here. These are pretty much the villains of space. They're like a spy network of space, you know, stealing information and such. That's kind of what they did. And this is like the very first model of it I got. And the only other one I got of the Spyruis series, I got the big robot. This thing is called the, I believe, the Spyruis Robo Guardian. And it did have a magnet piece. A lot of the space Legos had magnet pieces. And in fact, I still have all the magnets. I don't know what happened. Okay, there's something happened between many years ago and now. And I found the stack of magnets here. And I know there's one right there that's part of this box here. I'll show you this whole model here in just a second. But a lot of my space Lego models had like a little clip thing that would go here, and there's other models out there that has clips that are missing, and I don't know where all the clips are, but I have the magnets. I want to probably buy replacement parts for those eventually, as soon, you know, when I can find them. But kind of looking at this thing is really cool. This is one of my favorite ones. You know, it's kind of got the tank treads right there underneath it, and this part opens up, and it's basically like a little box with like information and such in there. It's like a top secret information box. On the back, well, let's talk about the front. You got this little decal right there on the front, and you know, it looks really awesome and intimidating, of course. And you got the arms, they just kind of raise up. They got gears inside of it. A little bit of Lego Technic is in there. Okay, again, kind of flips around. bends. It's got the clamp, little twin blasters on here, on their arms. And then there's the back thing here. This thing releases the arms. They just kind of lower them, releases them. Pretty cool gimmick back there. Back here you got a little, scout thing here. And this is interchangeable actually. So if you broke that. So if you take this pod off here, you could put this guy up here. So they're like interchangeable. So he can now control the robot up from up there. But also could be like as a backup defense, to help defend the robot if he's in danger. And of course down here, I'm dropping everything. You got the little droid back here. And this is a pretty cool early standard droid. It looks like a skeleton, to be honest. If you look at that closely enough, it's like a skeleton. And then there's like a gun attached back here as well. But it's pretty cool thing. The other cool thing about this, you can take the arms off. All right. There's a lot of neat makeshift things about this robot, but you could attach the arms to the top head. I got them backwards. Let's try that again, ladies and gentlemen. Let's try that again. We'll get this figured out one day. But yeah, it could be like a flying head with arms attached, and of course it could look really weird when you reattach the head and it's got arms up top. So this is really awesome. This is one of my favorite models from this. It did have two antennas back here that was up here. Not sure where they're at anymore. But some of these sets, like I said, they are mostly complete. Some missing pieces here and there because, again, played with missing stuff over the years. Continuing with robots, of course. This one I got one Easter, and they're really beat up actually a little bit. These are Crater Critters. These are pretty cool. We saw these in the stores, or at the store, and I was like, oh, that'd be cool to have because they're just robots. They're giant robots. Again, a guy with the treads, got a big old palm hand, kind of smack you around with it. These technically you don't go there, to actually go up here. And these things right here, there's like a set of these red pieces that goes on here, and they basically would be just giant ears. But again, wear and tear. I kind of modified it, kind of give him some shoulder pads. So there you go. And this guy here, he's a little bit fragile. This is again worn. Got a hook on the arm, got a gun, got a little grabber clamp, little control panel on his arm. Pretty cool set right there. Next up, Explorians. So, you got a little, again, another saucer scout right here. These guys just kind of basically explore planets is what they do. And this is another scout here that kind of just runs across the surface. This one had a magnet piece. Again, missing stuff, But yeah, there's a couple models there. Then, of course, the main big one here is basically another scout ship with a big old, I'm not sure what this is. I think it's I don't know if it's a gun, a telescope. I use it as a big blaster cannon. That's what I did as a kid. It's like boom, boom, it's like just blowing up ships everywhere, right? So that's what this thing is, but I think it's more like a big old satellite. It's pretty much what that's going to be, just to, send stuff back to their big ships or whatever, or bases. But I use it as a blaster cannon. Next series, Ice Planet. Probably my favorite one of all is the Ice Planet. I got more models of the Ice Planet set than any other space set here. Of course, starting out with the first one here, a little ground rover thing. Has a little chainsaw, just kind of drives and cuts ice. Pretty simplistic, pretty small. It's like the very first one I got. Second one I got here, this is like my favorite one right here, is this. I don't remember what it's called, what the name of it is, but I saw this in the Lego magazines and such. I was like, I really want that one. That one looks cool. And mainly because it had this detachable satellite dish. It's missing an antenna on the back of it, but it had this detachable satellite dish, and that's why I really want that, because it's a satellite dish. I like the satellite dish. But I also like how this thing is built, and I can't even get this back in here. But this one also comes as a blue, chainsaw thing right here. So this comes out, take the guy out, of course, and he goes to work on ice and do these little excavating things. The other one here is basically a Ice Planet bulldozer. All right, again, treads everything, you know. Also has a satellite dish on the back of it. But it's like a little snowplow bulldozer model. And the grand finale of the Ice Planet series is my biggest favorite one of all, the Deep Freeze Defender. This thing was, I got for Christmas, coincide with this castle right here the same year. As soon as I built this thing, after 8 hours, I went to work on this thing and pretty much tapped out, you know, halfway through building it because I had enough building Legos. But this thing is pretty awesome. It's pretty spectacular. It comes apart in multiple parts. Of course, right here, the midsection, that always likes to fall out. I don't know why, but there's like a missile in here. There's an antenna right here that detaches, of course. But this thing's supposed to raise up with the missile and it fires a missile. Like I said, it's a defender. Is what this is. And of course, if you open this back compartment here, it has like the sliding doors. And you slide this open. You got a little scout trooper in there. All right, if you can see that. There you go. And he comes out. And basically, there was a magnet part on this one where he can attach to the missile. The missile also had a magnet. And this guy would just take the missile and reload it, whatever you got to do. But anyways, that's where he hangs out. He's pretty much the captain of this thing. And so, but you can take this apart. All right, like these guys up front, these can come apart. Carefully come apart. Again, it's old, but they can like little snow speeders. All right, little snow speeders is what they become. And you can take the second one out as well, and then you just got this part. You got this ship here. If you detach this, you could detach that as well, and just kind of really break this thing down. Comes like this. So, and then the other cool thing is, move the satellite off of here. Oh, geez, everything's falling apart. So you could attach this guy right here, and this guy can just fly this portion of it. And you could take the other scout ship right here. And attach it like that. So you have two separate ships going on right here. Like I said, this is one of my favorite space models. I really love this one. It's one of my personal favorites of all my space Legos. And so that's it for this episode. I'm going to wrap it up right here. I do have a few more I would like to share, time constraints, but that's it for this one. Thank you guys so much for watching. Stay safe out there and take care.